Hello friends, welcome to the first ever FED Cipher Open. You are about to witness some of the best Cipher players in the world duke it out for a chance to win a piece of a growing prize pool and of course bragging rights over their fellow competitors. But I hear you saying, how does one even play Cipher? Well, hold on to your butts, because here is the crash course of everything you need to know before we watch today's set. On your screen right now is a Cipher card of everyone's fourth favorite blue-haired sword lord Marth. In the top left corner there are two numbers. The top denotes the amount of bonds needed to deploy this unit, and the bottom is how many bonds are needed to promote an already existing Marth that you control. The bottom left number shows Marth's attack value, and the bottom right shows his support value. These numbers are used for both offense and defense and will be further expounded upon in a second. The rest of the card contains things like skills, unit typing, and color, which will all be explained and expounded upon by our commentators when necessary. Now that we have a basic understanding of what the numbers mean on the Cipher cards, we can get into what a typical turn of Cipher looks like. Cipher turns are separated into 5 phases. First is the start phase. To start each turn, the player in control untaps all units and draws a card, barring any restrictions from a skill currently in play. Number 2 is bond phase. After drawing a card, a single bond can be played from the player's hand. These bonds are a resource for deploying units from your hand in the next phase. Think of bonds as mana from Magic the Gathering mixed with energy from the Pokemon trading card game. Number 3 is the deploy phase. With bonds on the table, the controlling player can now deploy, level up, or promote units. They may put down as many cards as they want as long as the total deploy or promotion cost does not exceed the amount of bonds they have. Also, cards can be deployed in the front line or back line. Next is the action phase. This is where combat happens. Also, any skills can be used at this time as long as the player has the resources to perform them. And finally, we have the end phase. This final phase has players clearing any attack bonuses from skills and the like that need cleared, and following that, the turn is passed to their opponent. Finally, let's cover combat basics. In any given combat, the acting player declares an attack from one of their units to an enemy who is in range. Following that, both players reveal the top card of their deck as a support card for the fight. The attack value from the attacking unit and the support value from the supporting unit are added together along with any other buffs or debuffs from skills to get the total attack value for this combat. The defending unit does the same with their defending units and support units' values. If the attacker's value is equal to or greater than the defender's value, the defending unit is sent to the retreat area, or in the case of an MC being hit, MC being main character, an orb is taken. If the defender's value is higher, then the combat ends with no consequences. Also, if the support card has the same name as the unit it is supporting, then the support fails entirely. In any given combat, the attacking player can double their attack value by playing a card from their hand that has the same name as the unit who is attacking. In return, the defending player may play a card with the same name as the defending unit to evade an oncoming attack that would normally hit. Once combat is finished, both players send their support cards to the retreat area. The ultimate goal of Fire Emblem Cipher is to kill the opponent's main character 6 times. The first 5 times, the opponent draws a card called an orb, which was mentioned earlier. Once those orbs are gone, and their main character is killed one more time, the game is over. If you want to learn more and get into Cipher yourself, click the Discord link in the description to join the Fire Emblem Cipher Discord. There are plenty of players there that would love to help you get started. With all that out of the way, it's time to move on to some sick Cipher gameplay. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the FED Cipher Open, our very first ever tournament here in the Cipher series. I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty pumped, and we have a really good matchup for you guys today. Cipher Cord's very own Hochweisse and Dreidel will be facing off. So, I have 2 awesome commentators with me today who are going to be helping me out. If you can't tell, I'm a little sick, so talking usually leads to a bunch of coughing from me. So I will have some help from a couple of my good friends. Do you guys want to introduce yourself really quick?
Yeah, hi. I'm Awesome Sauce.
He is quite awesome, and he's very saucy.
And hello, my name is Cap AE, also known as Game Freak.
And when we're bad, we never say it right. We just call him Capet. So, um, so we're gonna have a great match here. I don't know. You guys have anything to say before we get started? Things to look out for?
Uh, yeah, so I mean, we have. Do you mind if I say the matchup?
Yeah, it's already on screen. Go for it.
All right, got it. So we have Hochweisse playing Crom and Dreidel playing Micaiah. So at least from Crom, we expect to see a whole lot of class-changing shenanigans, especially because the deck is mono blue. And Dreidel, we expect to be seeing, I guess, normal Micaiah things involving growthing herself to get buffs, and him trying to stay on a low hand in order to keep drawing cards.
Yeah, and then I would say just between the two competitors, Dreidel is a veteran player. He's been around for quite a while. He's very good, very fast. He knows his deck inside and out. Hoff is also a really good player, veteran. Does a lot. He's been around. He does a lot of good things. He's very tact. He's very sound. It's just going to come down to more so the decks as well as the skill. We'll see if the skill gap is much of a difference, but honestly, this is pretty even from the competitor standpoint. It's really just going to be the decks talking.
All right, awesome. I think our players are ready to go. They both have drawn 6 cards, have their 5 orbs ready to go. Did you guys catch who's going first?
I believe Dreidel is going first.
Dreidel is going first. Again, Dreidel is playing Kron. I'm sorry, Dreidel playing Micaiah, and Hochweisse is playing Kron. So I'm going to give them the go ahead, and we'll see how this goes.
I think it's going to be a pretty strong matchup. It's going to be pretty interesting to see who ends up with the upper hand early on, because that could really dictate what ends up happening in the late game. Because if you're playing from behind, it's a whole different strategy set than when you're ahead, or even when it's even.
Yeah. So what kind of decks are these in terms of is aggro or tempo? We have like the long game? Like, what are we going for here?
I would like to say that in general, like Micaiah is sort of like a mid-range sort of deck. Definitely is able to keep up value for a long time, and I wouldn't call her a stall deck at all. But she's able to survive for a while, keep playing units for a long time. She will burn out after a really long time, though, of course. Crom, on the other hand, you don't see mono blue Crom too often, so it's hard to define. I would also call him maybe a little bit of like a mid-range-ish, almost like tempo-y sort of deck. He plays one cost, at least using his skill and whatnot.
I would say it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens. So for the people who are confused as to what's been happening so far, Prom got us started off with an attack, but Micaiah evaded, and then Micaiah went on the offensive. Prom got a self-support. Self-supporting means you don't get extra bonus from your support value. Micaiah was able to get the hit off and was able to take an orb.
Ooh, and a hero emblem from Yen Fei. Interesting that Hochweisse has Yen Fei in the deck. Definitely something to look out for. Pretty interesting finisher.
And for those still wondering, hero emblem means that you take two. That if you do attack your opponent's main character and they do in fact get the hit, that means they take 2 orbs. So that's 2 prize cards if you're a Pokemon player, and much easier because basically you get a 2-for-1, and it's a huge advantage.
And as you can see, Dreidel evading early in order to stay low on hand size, as Micaiah should. Micaiah's main promo is looking to stay on a hand of 4 or less because her skill 2 allows her to draw a card if she has 4 fewer cards in her hand when growthed. So, Dreidel looking to grow here, get plus 30, and draw a card. And that's what Micaiah's game plan tends to be, and in order to keep up value for the long run.
So I'll just let everyone know I'll just let everyone know from the get-go. Right now, even though you're unable to see it at the moment, Micaiah's stack is right now at 2. I mean, it's right now at 3 actually. So there's the main character. There's another card that's underneath it that you're unable to see at the moment, and then there's the top card, which allows you to see what Micaiah currently looks like and which particular Micaiah is attacking.
Man, okay. This is hard to keep up. They're playing quick.
Like I said, when you have two veteran top level talents, high level players, you're gonna get fast matches, and they know their decks, they know what they want to do, and they know they pretty much have a good idea of what the matchup is going to be. As we see Crom promoting, and this is going to start to really kick off this match proper.
Do want to point out, interesting that Hochweisse bonded 3 Croms, 3 evades in his bonds, especially bridges. Very interesting to see. That might bite him in the bum later.
In the bum.
This is already turning out to be pretty. Is already turning out to be pretty hot. Hotch is in an interesting spot as Dreidel is just at the moment has pretty good advantage, even though he doesn't have any of their units at the moment right now. He's still gonna be able to really just get into he's really going to get into his mid game starting right around now. So we'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah, and you notice he was dodging early with Micaiah, right? But he doesn't mind using those because he likes to have Micaiah's in his retreat, right? To growth her, right? Not wrong about that. Maybe.
No, that is correct. It's going to be.
I know some things.
Yeah, FED is definitely pretty knowledgeable about the subject as well. We're getting into the thick of it now, as we can see a little bit of a mix-up there. The players are discussing it right now, what ended up just happening on that last turn. So now they're just trying to sort things out, and now we're going to move right again back on Hochweise's turn.
I do have a good feeling that if Dreidel is able to keep up with evades, then as we go further and further into the game and Hochweisse starts losing bonds, I do feel like Micaiah is going to start getting the upper hand. Now, as we can see, he class changed Lucina, so we're going to see some tempo here. Interesting that he plays Robin too. Maybe he doesn't have anything better in his retreat. So yeah, we're going to see some attacks here, and maybe Dreidel will take some blows, but we'll see how many evades he has too, because Micaiah can certainly keep up on those. And that's a miss from Yen Fei.
You got a very clutch Jill support, which is a 30, which is a really good number to have, and then immediately goes into the Stefan, which is only 10. It's not going to help him there, but I think he's still going to end up with the hit. Yeah, he's going to have to get the evade off there. Right now, Dreidel being blessed with a lot of early evades. Wow, he's just...
Dang, dude.
He's just dodging everything left and right. And that's going to be his first board taken.
Dreidel definitely in a pretty decent spot depending on what's in his hand.
Fetch, I got them mixed up.
Goes into Peony, gets a free draw. It only cost him 0 to deploy because Peony has a skill where you have 5 bond cards, which is exactly where Dreidel is at right now. The deployment cost is 0, so he basically was able to get a free drop and a draw. And he's going to go into Jill, and he's going to go into the Jill Curse Naga combo sauce, a very famous combo for green players.
Yeah, it's a very effective combo because Jill can tempo out a 4-cost Fang or lower, and Kurth Naga is a very good card for Jill, especially in main characters where their main promotion is a 5-cost because they can get buffed. For Kurth Naga can get buffed for +10 for every ally with a deployment cost of 5 or higher. So in main characters where their promotion is a 5/3, Kurth Naga kind of just sits there for 80. It's a very popular combo because it tends to get a lot of value off for green 5/3 NCs like Mickey.
Now he was able to move Micaiah backwards so he can try to get a little bit of distance between Hochweise's front line, and now you can see Jill and Kurth Naga doing some damage. But we'll see what ends up happening here is now. Interesting. We got basically
Definitely do agree with going for board here, as Micaiah typically should. He's definitely able to keep up with some pretty good value because he was able to grow. I believe he was able to grow twice this turn using Jill. Jill's on hit, who can grow an ally, and Micaiah's skill 1. So definitely in a very good spot, keeping up lots of value as Micaiah tends to.
Now we'll see if Hotch is in a little bit of a spine here. If he can really try to see if he can turn this thing around, because this is not looking too good for him. He still has some options left to play. As we see Robin going to go, he's going to bring out the Lucina, see if he ends up class changing that and starting a little bit of a run here.
So what does Hotch need to do at this point to make up the 2-orb deficit here?
Well, it's hard to say. Hochweisse is in a really bad spot, so he needs to be able to play enough beaters to get Micaiah low, which is going to be extremely difficult because Micaiah is just going to have the evades. On top of the fact that he needs to also take care of field too. So there's just a lot of factors at play that Hotch is just so far behind in terms of being able to catch up, especially because the card value, the amount of cards that they have in their hand are very similar, and Dreidel is up by 2 orbs. So it's really hard to come back here. He just has to hit face enough times, really, and see what happens.
And let's not forget that Dreidel was blessed early on with so many evades. He was able to just not take any orbs, not get any extra cards in his hand for this moment where he can finally get some more cards in his hand and able to get the Jill Kurthnaga combo later to basically be his primary force.
This is a big force march here. It's a mechanic that we haven't seen yet. Essentially, if you have no cards or units in your front line, then your back line has to move forward. So he was able to push back Kurthnaga. I believe it's one of Robin's skills that does that, yeah. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. And then brought everything forward so he can attack Micaiah now. So he's able to take an orb or 2. That's good.
Let's see, Hotch is really thinking about his options. He's going to get the hero emblem and attack base on Micaiah. Micaiah is going to again evade. Again, Dreidel is just getting blessed with so many different evades in this game.
How many Micaiahs is like typical in a deck like this?
Many.
Typically, I would say around 16.
Oh, really?
So
wow.
So you would run 2 sets of bridge. You run Micaiah set 22 Micaiah 5/3, and then you run a set of off promo as well in case you brick.
Okay. And just so viewers at home know, typically you run a 50 card deck, including your main character that you play at the beginning of the game. So 16 is a pretty large portion of that.
And Dreidel is able to get Stefan out, a card that he has a very soft spot for, I would say.
Draidel's a man after my own heart, as I also have a soft spot for Stefan. I think all of us here have a really good fondness for Stefan, and Stefan is just going to start to do some tricks where he gets first of all, he's going to get the boost from Peony, and he's going to start attacking. Afterwards, he's going to do some Micaiah growths, and whenever a green unit gets growth, Stefan is able to untap and potentially attack again for some more damage. And with this boosted Stefan, it's going to be really hard to try to survive at this point.
Hochweisse is on a 6-card hand, so it is always possible that he has enough evades, though he is just going to keep getting hit here. I have a feeling Dreidel might be going for game if he's swinging at face just like that with Stefan.
And you got to imagine he bonded those 3 Croms early on. Hotch did, so you wonder how many evades he still has left in his deck. So it's,
especially because he's basically not clearing board now. He's just
Dreidel. Let's see what he does.
Oh yeah, Dreidel was taking a look at his bonds, saw all those Croms.
Because Dreidel has just abandoned clearing the board, and he is now just going for blood.
I mean,
Crom is in a little bit of a tricky spot as well because he has no face-up bonds. Crom needs to flip a bond in order to deploy a small unit from his retreat in order to class change them. But because he has no face-up bonds, he needs to actively bond a card from his hand every turn in order to keep up with this.
Oh, he's swinging at he decided to swing at Robin. Okay.
Interesting ordering, I would say.
Yeah,
I wouldn't necessarily agree with swinging face before going board, but
it was definitely you could definitely tell it was a mid-turn decision whether or not he would continue to clear the board or just continue to go face. He did it halfway by going straight for the face and then decided mid-turn to go for the board, which is typically not something you want to do because one of your opponent's orbs might be an evade for either your main character or for one of your characters who are already on the board. So that's typically not the way you want to do things, but in the flow of the game, you may have to you may change your mind in the middle of a turn rather than having the whole thing planned out. It could end up being a really tricky situation when you're mid-turn.
Oh, that's interesting. So then he did swing face again at Crom there. So Hotch is down to 0 orbs. So one more hit on his MC is the game. Yeah, that was really weird ordering. I don't particularly get it, but Dreidel's the mastermind, so I'm sure he has something planned.
And let's see what he's going to heal with Kurth Naga. So for context, Kurth Naga can flip one bond to add a card with a deployment cost of 5 or higher from his retreat area to his hand.
Yeah, typically when we were talking about the Jill Kurth Naga combo, that's typically used for Jill, but he could again still go for Jill here, but he might just go straight for Stefan if he feels as though he can get a critical hit, which would double his attack and then just kind of put this game away.
Or maybe use it as a Stefan redeploy. Nope, and he goes for Jill, which I definitely agree with if Kurth Naga is in trouble here. Getting Kurth Naga out again is definitely very helpful, and Jill can also swing for 80 as well.
And also to note is both players' decks are about to deck out, which in Cipher that just means you reshuffle your retreat back into your deck. It's not a loss condition or whatever, like in Magic.
But like in pretty much almost every other card game.
Yeah, like every other card game. But that's particularly kind of a big deal for Micaiah, where she does a lot of retreat shenanigans to growth herself. So.
And Hochweisse is able to get Robin 5/4 out. So Robin is able to blow up a card on the opposing field equal to the amount of class change units that Hotch owns. So Hotch was able to actually clear field here, which is really good. Although I don't think it will save him the game because Dreidel can just get all these units back up. We'll see if Hotch decides to stay in the front or not.
Yeah, this could be a critical turn. Considering how many times he bonded Croms, which are basically his lifeline evades, I'm predicting that he's probably going to backline, but at the same time, he may just be a wash and he has to go straight for the face. We'll see. No, he does end up going backline, trying to stall as much time as possible and maybe get himself into a better spot, hopefully survive another turn.
Yeah, although while he does want to survive, being jailed in the backline is also pretty difficult because Crom will not be able to attack units in the front line because he has only one range. He won't be able to draw an extra card off of a class change, and he can still get hit by Micaiah.
And that's one of the tricky things when it comes to Cipher. Usually, if you have a unit that is like a mage or that has 1 to 2 range, they can attack from the back line. On the other hand, usually they're going to have weaker attack power so that they can be more easily hit, but it allows you a bit more defensive utility. However, the weakness and power, you're going to have to make it up in other ways, whereas you have a 1-range unit like Crom, and you can just attack from the front line and pretty much have all the power you need most of the time, except for situations where you're in with Hochweisse, where he's going to have to go in the back line to try to survive to help himself out, because now that Crom's is going to be able to use his abilities, but he's not going to really be able to be an offensive threat.
Yeah, Capet, I do think that Hochweisse really just can't come back from this game. It's going to be very difficult for him. I think another thing is that Dreidel is, well, now he just lowered his hand size, of course. Interesting that he will play Ileana, though I do sort of understand why, in order to lower his hand here.
Yeah, for those wondering, Ileana has a couple different neat abilities. One of them is that he can just get rid of cards to destroy units from the field, and he could also flip, basically have, if you have fewer cards in your hand, and draw 2 more. So it's basically good hand size help and also good field help. Ileana is a pretty good card, and he's trying to see about probably clearing field here.
You will see. Yep, and he decides to blow up Hochweisse's front line, as expected.
Does he have a Jill crit?
Yes, he does. He does have a Jill crit. He did heal Kurthnaga the previous turn. He just
and he takes it. Oh,
that's
fetch.
Game 1 to Dreidel.
That's game. Wow, Dreidel takes game 1. All right, so now so it is a best of 3. So Dreidel does need to win 1 more game to take the set. What does he need to? What does Hodge need? What adjustments does Hodge need to make to have a different outcome this time?
Well, it's hard to really say because Hochweisse just needs to be able to beat Dreidel hard enough, and it's kind of just like a sacking game at this rate. Like, Hochweisse just needs to beat him in early enough that Dreidel won't be able to draw properly, or at least keep up with value. Although that's very difficult. It's really hard to say what he can do here. He just has to beat him out early, or he just loses, as you can see in game 1.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, sorry. I have to reopen. I think I have to redo the room. Something weird happened here. 1 second. Let me redo this room.
Well, it's gonna be definitely tough sledding up ahead for Hodge because he knows what he needs to do. He just needs the difficulty is going to be really able to execute it. One of the big things about Cipher is that you really want to get to your main character's promotion so that you can really start taking use of the most of their capabilities. And again, what we were discussing about in the previous game is that Micaiah is a mage MC. It's going to be, and Crom's really set up for the longer game, but he is going to have a bit of a difficult time trying to get a bit of an aggro game going, because that was going to end up being his real best choice, at least to try to help with some of the problems that he's going to deal with later on in the game.
All right, sorry about that. The technical issues with Lackey here, the stuff we use to play Cipher. Had to make a new room, and I had to change the password because I showed the old password on screen. And I guess I'm just mean and don't want you guys to join the room, I guess. I don't know. But I think we got it figured out now. All right, game 2. Any predictions? What's going to happen?
I have a feeling that if Dreidel is able to evade enough early, I have a feeling that this will probably go the same way as game 1. Very much of an uphill battle for Hochweisse.
It really comes down to how many bonds is Hodge able to steal early. But again, this Micaiah deck just has a lot of evades, so it's going to be tough sledding to try to get those bonds early and to try to get himself in a better position.
Bonds or orbs?
Yes.
Yes. Starts off with Frederick. We'll see what.
Yeah. Thanks, Sauce. Yeah, bonds on the other side. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This time he's not. So this time he's going to start off not bonding Crom, but rather bond Yenfei.
Probably the better play overall. Maybe, I don't know.
I do find it interesting that Hochweisse decided to play unit on turn 1. Feels a little cocky in a way, feeling that Frederick might not die, and he might be right. But of course,
there's a crit.
Put the unit and kill Frederick. And that's why you don't play units on turn 1, kids.
I mean, to be fair, Mage MC, you think you're going to be okay. So, like, I get it, but...
Yeah, you just crit anyway.
You don't usually. So if you're starting first off, if you have the very first turn, you cannot attack. So usually you don't want to hang your units out to dry by playing a low-cost unit that's just going to be bait for someone to destroy without really being able to do anything.
Oh, and Hochweisse getting the hero emblem here. Definitely something that he really wants to see. Although, of course, because of the matchup, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, and again, a hero emblem, for those who don't know, it just means that it's a support ability that some cards have that make it a double orb brick. So 2 orbs broken instead of just 1. All right. I need to. Sorry, it's like a full-time job just keeping up on the hand and orb total.
So Dreidel not playing anything here, and deciding to swing at Robin. Interesting that he doesn't have bridge. Hopefully, well, he did evade last turn too, so I have a feeling that he has made promo. No chance that he's gonna brick.
More than likely, he figured he could get away with not bridging. I mean, Dreidel sometimes likes to feel himself, and he can get into that mode where he's like, I don't need a bridge. I have enough evades. And the evades in my retreat is better than the bridge in my hand. So that could be his thinking here.
And Dreidel is gonna start to get hit in here, and evades as expected to keep his hand size low. And we're going to look for Dreidel's promotion here. I'm just going to assume that he has it because he evaded with it 1 turn.
I don't believe he reshuffled as well, so I think he's got it. Yeah, there it is.
Yep, there it is.
And also the extra good thing about his evades is that now he's going to grow. He's going to be able to draw as well. So it's basically a self-fulfilling cycle that's pretty good.
Now, it's a pretty even game so far. Both around the same hand size, both around the same orb count. And he decides to go face.
I mean, is there any worry leaving that Robin on the field for Dreidel?
I would say the only worry is that Robin gets class changed, but at the same time, there's really no field to blow up here. We just have Ilyana, who has potential to get class change next turn, but you can just use Robin skill 2 to get range and attack at Ilyana in the back. There's just really no field to blow up here, so there's not as much worry for Robin, especially until later game, of course, when Dreidel starts to have a field to blow up. He gets the Frederick class change off.
And he is going to go for that Robin range and attack Ilyana head on. He's going to get support, but it's still going to be enough because of just the attack difference.
He's going to buff Frederick and Crom for free.
And another evade to try to help save himself, as well as get another Micaiah in retreat.
Ooh, no flyer support from Micaiah. He's going to take another orb.
So Hodge off to a much better start here. It's a bit more, he's keeping the game rather even, kilt. We'll see what ends up happening. It's going to be a very big 4 turn. And oh, here we go.
Ooh, Soren.
He's going to have, so now when we have Soren on the field, it's just going to mean that if you have a hand size of 4 or greater, you cannot draw. So he's basically just stopping Hodge from being able to draw next turn. So even to begin his next turn, he's not going to be able to draw unless he's able to do quite a bit of evading this turn. And even then, he's still going to have to be able to like discard 2 of them just to do that.
I do expect for Dreidel to go for field here.
I think it's going to be it's a bit of a tricky position. Dreidel is he's kind of in the mid spot, but again, Dreidel's big thing isn't until the next turn. As you can see, he gets rid of Robin, and now it's going to come down to, is he going to again go for a face, or is he going to go for the straight attack?
Oh, and he shuffles Frederick back into the deck, and he decides to swing face. And Hotch has to take an orb here. I'm surprised he didn't evade. Oh, but then again, at the same time, it's just one attack here.
So he's not going to be able. So basically, Hotch is not going to be able to draw this first turn. So now he's just going to have to play with what he has in his hand. As Hotch getting into a little bit of banter with Dreidel, talking about how he wishes he could get that extra draw because Soren is a bloody curse on the Cipher world, trying to make sure that no one's able to draw cards or even get anything from their deck.
Yeah, Soren's a funny card in the community. No one likes playing against it, but it's really good, so people use it.
It's easy to go straight to Lucina and Naga.
Draw one.
What's this Lucina do? What's the play with her?
So the Lucina is basically able to deploy a blue card with a deployment cost of 4 lower from the retreat area. So he can just get any of his tools out. Typically, I guess he's looking for male Robin here, who is able to draw you a card if an enemy evades or crits. Although I do also see Naui being played sometimes as well in order to pick up bonds.
Interestingly enough, I don't recall seeing a Naui in this deck yet. So
yeah, I don't think Hochweisse runs Naui.
So it's just going to be a face swinging affair. See just how much damage he can put on this Micaiah and try to get himself a bit of a lead, and then maybe with just one orb and lower, Hodges can put himself in a better spot to be able to win this game late.
Oh, and he gets the Rhea CP. Definitely an interesting tech with a lot of foresight against Dreidel. What Rhea CP does is it shuffles the retreat back into the deck and makes it so gives Micaiah a hard time in terms of growthing. Definitely an interesting play here, something that Hotch really likes to see.
Especially because this is a little bit about knowing your opponent. Dreidel very much known for really liking Micaiah, really liking to do all these different techs. So he probably just prepared that just for this match, just to make sure that Micaiah isn't able to do as many of the skills. Now this is going to be a very, very big turn for Dreidel, as this is his turn 5. And most of his big stuff is able to are 5 cost. That's where you get the Ileana. That's where you get the Jill. That's where you're going to be able to Kurth. That's where you're going to be able to Kurth, who's a 4 cost, but Kurth into Jill or to Stefan. It's gonna be a really big turn to see what Dreidel does, and it's gonna set up the rest of the game.
Oh man, and we wait with bated breath. Oh my. That was a pretty fat turn. Brought Dreidel down to 0 orbs.
Yeah, interesting that he took the last orb. I thought he would evade there, but maybe Dreidel just simply doesn't have evades.
Yeah, I mean, only has 5 cards in his hand. Only, but you know.
Yeah, you definitely got blessed last game with so many evades, especially early on, and now this game he's had a couple of evades, but not as frequently as last game. Hotch is in a pretty good spot. He's going to start off with Ileana, Jill.
Wait, did he skip Bond?
Yeah, he decided to skip Bond.
He didn't Bond.
This is crazy. What is going on?
Does he have an Ileana and a Jill crit, and he's just gonna try and crit a line here?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, maybe
it looks like he's going for game. I mean, that's pretty risky. I don't know, man. I don't feel like I've seen very many Chroms out on the field. Maybe I'm wrong in the fetch.
And the other tricky part is I think he's gonna attack with them first, get some crits, as well as try to hopefully get. I think he's gonna try to hopefully get a Micaiah back into his retreat so that he can growth and try to get some damage to get off probably Robin or maybe another space one.
No Jill crit, okay. Or maybe a Jill crit wouldn't have even hit there.
No, and he's going for Robin.
A nice swing at Robin. Okay, interesting. There's the Ileana crit.
And Hochweisse gets the Robin draw.
Because of that draw, that means that he's going to be bit more tricky for him to try to draw the beginning of his next turn. He
But
also
it was good to see.
He also did get the Makai in retreat, so that's going to be a growth.
Yeah, it was good to see a Micaiah go into the retreat. And he's going to shuffle Lucina back into the deck. And I believe Dreidel's just going to go face from here, as he should. Hochweisse not evading and having a high hand size so he can't draw next turn. Maybe he doesn't have evades, maybe he is misplaying. We won't know.
Well, for right now, Hotch is going to survive this turn with one orb. Dreidel is down to 0 orbs. This is going to be a very pivotal turn to see if Hotch can bring it home.
Definitely.
I'm a little
Another Lucina class change, and he's able to draw 2 because his hand size was low enough.
I'm a little surprised. Dreidel didn't move Micaiah back there.
He probably has 2 evades at least, I would imagine. That's probably why he felt so confident of leaving Micaiah in the front. There's the first evade. He's going to move Jill back thanks to the skill. There's the second evade, as I figured. The question is, does he have a third?
1 card in hand. And he had the
evade, yeah. Oh man, Hotch is kicking himself now.
He's probably luring him into a false sense by deciding to let himself manually get himself down to 0 orbs to probably help Hotch into just digging his own grave at this point in the game. And now we're going to see the free peony draw, and we're going to see... Wait, did he skip bonds again?
He did skip bond again, so Peony is actually not free.
Not free.
Peony
still gets the card draw if he wants it though, which for
definitely
he hasn't drawn a card yet for some reason.
He's not deploying anything else. He's just going straight to action.
This is going to be a very interesting turn.
I mean, do you swing face here? Hope that he doesn't have a bunch of evades in his hand, or what do you do?
It's really tricky. He could start to push some units up front to try to just have some fodder. He could try to swing face and see if he can get some strength on strength. He's going to go with Soren, and he's going to start by swinging
a Lucina. Okay.
Lucina.
So he's going to clear the field, or at least try to. Doing so with style so far. Soren getting some use.
I do think it is a decent decision.
Attacking Fred, not going to hit though. Unless he crits, which I doubt. Because he doesn't have any cards in his hand.
Well, he has 2 cards in his hand.
Oh, he does? Dude, what the...
Yeah.
Why isn't this updating for me?
I'm uncertain.
He's really thinking about it. I think he's tipping that he has another evade/crit in his hand. He's really deciding whether or not he wants to use it and clear Frederick.
But yeah, I don't think he would necessarily swing face because Hochweisse is sitting on 4 cards in hand. So he wants to deny value with Soren. And this also lies on whether or not Dreidel has evades. And I'm sure he has at least 1, because he's deliberating on whether or not he wants to crit with it.
Or he's pulling he's like being Patrick, you know?
That's entirely possible to try to put into it, but I think at this point it's between 2 veteran players, especially a veteran player like Hawk. I'm not sure he's going to fall for it that much. He's going to think about it, but yeah, he's going to push Joe forward, and that's going to be the turn. And it's going to see if Hotch can try to see if he can try to pull this out. Again, Hotch is in an interesting spot because he's going to have to bond something, and then he's going to have to see about what we can do. He's going to go straight into Robin, the back line. So Robin again can. Oh, he's gonna promote to Robin. So there we go.
So he can blow up 2 units in the field.
We're gonna see a bit of damage this turn, people.
And this game is definitely. I think this is game. I think Hochweisse has it in the bag for sure.
Yeah, barring a Robin self, I don't think there's any chance. Never mind.
Well, I mean, he buffs for
now Robin is super buffed. JK. He is scrizzled.
There's one. Dreidel has one more card in his hand. Let's see if that's an evade.
One more
There it is.
evade.
That's the final evade, and now it's going to be come down to is it going to self or is it going to be
Self and a flyer support. Here we go. Self and a. Oh nope, that's game.
No, he's reshuffling retreat.
Oh, he's reshuffling. Okay, all 10. That's enough.
That's going to be 90.
That's
It's
gonna
not
be
going to
enough.
matter. That's going to
That's
be the game.
game. Oh, baby.
Game and a BM crit.
Just for style points.
All right, man. This is a set here. This is pretty sick, nasty, dude. Why does it keep the? Why am I in the seat?
I don't know.
Do you guys see me in the seat?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
see you in the seat. I am not sure why.
Why am I in the seat?
I don't know. Vacate.
I'm trying.
Oh,
I literally can't. I can't do anything.
This is. Oh man, we're having fun here at the first day of the FEDCS. If you like this, please like and subscribe. Make sure you stick around for more content. This has been a great time so far.
All right.
I'm just going to take this opportunity to say, you guys, for all the new players in chat, you guys should look to join our amateurs tournament that we're hosting.
Yeah, amateurs tournament is super cool. That's how I really learned how to play. Like I kind of knew how to play, but then I really knew how to play.
Yeah,
because of
tournament.
tourneys.
Yeah, it's a tournament that's exclusive to new players. So anyone that's looking to learn how to play the game and get into it, I mean, we will pair you up with a coach and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, the amateur tournament is how I think all of us really got into learning how to play. And then considering that we had close to 50 people join Cypherport over like the past week. It would be like the best time for any and all of you to learn how to play this game. It's a lot of fun. I met a lot of good people there. I learned a lot from my coaches, and it's going to be a terrific tournament. And if you really want to learn how to play Cypher, you have your own personal coach who can help you learn how to play, and you'll be able to learn in a tournament setting against other amateurs who are people who are learning how to play. And it will be just a good experience for you so that you can sort of get into the tournament setting, sort of learn how to play as well, and have a lot of fun doing it and have matchups where you can, it's not going to be as awkward of a setting.
Yeah, it's because everyone's learning in that situation, so it's really good. And yeah, so a little. I guess there's a little confusion. Some people brought this up. This is not the MS tournament. This is we call it a blue name. Essentially, these are the best of the best playing right now in this tournament. So it's an open tournament. Everyone was invited to enter, but that leads to just like everyone who's baller joining. So
yeah, this is considered a major tournament for major bragging rights to say you're a tournament champion. This is sort of a big deal. We try to do as professional as possible, in contrast to MS, where it's a bit more relaxed, more laid back, more like if you make mistakes, it's okay. This is more like, no, you better be on it because this is the best of the best, playing the best of the best.
And there's cash money on the line, baby. For those who don't, there's a fat cash prize at the end of this. So pretty pumped.
So looking back at the game, at this first turn, Hochweisse was looking to at least beat in some orbs against Dreidel and managed to self twice, which was very, very unfortunate. So Dreidel still sits on 5 orbs.
Oh, you're saying Hotch was able to get into a little bit of unfortunate Hotch luck?
Yep, and then Micaiah is able to hit the Jill and clear Yen Fei.
And so this is gonna be a very spirited turn. Very spirited turn 1 and turn 2 on both sides. Now we're gonna go switch back to Hochweisse, and he's gonna bond another Crom again, like he did in the first game. He's gonna bond a bridge, and we're gonna see
Another Yen Fei. So Hotch is definitely trying to beat Dreidel in with his 1 cost. Let's see if Dreidel selfs, and he does. Hotch definitely lucked out there for a second.
Yeah, again, the biggest thing about a 1-2 range MC or as mage MC is that once it gets to the middle and late game, that's where they really shine. But but even if you're a late game deck, as Crom sort of is, Crom's a mid to late game deck. You still want, against a mage MC, you do want to switch up your strategy a bit and try to get as many hits off early as possible, to make it easier for you later in the game, because you don't need as many hits, and it's going to be much tougher to do it later in the game than it is earlier in the game.
So Yanfei selfing here against Ileana. I do agree that Dreidel should be clearing board here. He's in a very difficult spot because his hand is high and he's low on orbs. He wants to look to lower that hand size and then start evading some more, so he's able to keep up with some value.
So, and at this point, you just assume he didn't have any evades in his hand, right? Because he wasn't like.
Oh yeah, I'm fairly certain he doesn't.
Down to 1 orb already is not Micaiah's normal style. So
yeah,
Dreidel may have gotten a little bit of some bad luck with that hand.
As in contrast to what we saw in both Game 1 and Game 2, Micaiah was trying to do everything she could to dodge early and often. And just not being able to dodge just means that you don't have the dodges and evades in your hand.
And he gets a turn for Jill. It's very good for Dreidel. He's able to curve out a turn earlier than expected. And still high hand, but more value.
And he's able to get the Kurth Naga off right thanks to the Jill, and then he has Ileana set in the back. He could be even though he's down, he's not out. This could be a really big turn upcoming for Hotch, because this is going to determine how big Dreidel's going to be able to swing the turn afterwards. Right now, still going back to this turn, Jill attacks and is going to get one off from Hotch. Now we're going to have a Kurth Naga attack, and Kurth Naga is going to sell. So that's not going to be able to do anything unless he gets a crit here.
But it is going to hit because Hochweisse hit a 10. So
what? Why'd they move their bonds?
Little surprising.
No, put them back.
Welcome everyone to day 1 of the Cipher series, where we're trying to get all of our technical difficulties out of the way.
Fetch. I thought we had this part figured out.
All good, all good.
So
we'll see if we can get Dreidel to move his bonds real quick.
So Dreidel is
No, put him. Stop it. Move him back. Okay, thank you.
Here we go. So, there we go. Now we have everything back. So we have 1 Micaiah in the stack. We have Hodge with his 3 untapped bonds. We have Dreidel with his 4 bonds, 3 of them tapped, with Stefan face up. So.
That was such a cluster. Oh, that's awesome. Professional streamer over here, guys.
Oh, and he's going to Robin class change.
Yes,
He's going to clear the front line, I assume. Yep, definitely very good for Hochweisse.
So there we go. Like we said, try to blow up that board, because it was going to be a massive turn, reversal turn for Dreidel if Hotch was not able to clear his field, or at least even some of it. But you got both of the targets out of the way.
Going to use plan.
It's going to be a self for Micaiah, but he's going to get the dodge off. So he evades that one. And then Yanfei with the support versus the 30 support Jill coming in, but that's not going to be enough because of the boosted Crom, and he's going to have to use another evade.
Ooh.
We'll see if Dreidel is able to keep up with these evades, but it's going to be difficult, seeing as the early game kind of proved that Dreidel doesn't have that many evades in his hand. So
interesting that he's going to bond Ileana here when he has Ileana on the field, and he's not. And is he going to not? Does he have another one on his hand that he's going to try to promote Ileana to, or is he not planning on it because he figured that's not big enough of a field for me to blow up, so it's not worth my time at this moment. He's just still waiting.
I have a feeling that Dreidel might play Stefan here.
He does have an extra. That peony was free, by the way. When you have 5 bonds or more, peony's cost turns to 0. So he still has 5 deployment spots left that he could use. He's gonna go for Jill. So he's gonna go to Jill and probably to Kurthnaga after that to try to again get that turn that he tried to get off last turn up into now.
It's going to be a shame for Dreidel, though, because he won't be able to heal anything back from his retreat if he deploys with Jill, because he's going to run out of face-up bonds. But if he does deploy Jill, he will be able to hit Robin in the backline.
It all depends on what the next move is, because I think there's going to be something else he's going to do, I think, before he attacks. We'll see. Dreidel has a tough choice to make. Hotch was able to aggro really well in the early game, and is now putting all kinds of pressure on him.
Oh man. The inner machinations of his mind are an enigma, fellas.
As Penta said in chat, I do want to point out that Robin has definitely been carrying Hodge pretty hard right now.
And why is that?
Well, I'm just going to take the words out of Penta's mouth that he said in chat right now, but I definitely agree that Robin being able to blow up field that Dreidel builds up is basically allows to put free pressure on Mickey, especially because of the fact that Robin is a 60 base as well. Or sorry, Micaiah is a 60 base as well. So Robin can pretty much just hit Mickey and clear field.
Yeah, basically Robin is able to just see with Green and Micaiah in this Micaiah deck. The good thing is that it's pretty balanced in many ways. You have Ileana, which can blow stuff up with, though you don't use it too often unless your opponent's running a lot of field spam. You have Jill and Kurthnaga who can just rush the field and just cause all kinds of damage. You have Micaiah who can do some draws. You have Stefan who can come in for kill shots later in the game with untaps. It's just so having Robin to be able to just
going for the
do everything is pretty useful.
Ileana crit there to take an orb.
Let's see if Hodge is able to evade this.
Well, that's a miss right there.
So now it's down to 1.
No, that hits because Jill is 80.
Oh, Jill's an 80 base. Sorry, yeah.
So the self-support.
Dreidel able to get another grow off.
Yeah, the early game looked like Hotch had this in the bag, but Dreidel's really coming back at him here. This is pretty sick. Ooh, the double self.
Oh, it's a double self, but
doesn't matter either way though. Unless actually, does Micaiah have any bonuses? Micaiah does have a bonus right now, doesn't she?
Yes.
Yes, Micaiah has a bonus. It doesn't show on. He didn't.
He didn't show it, but yeah.
He didn't show it, but Micaiah does have the bonus right now, so that was a thing. And the double self just sort of a gut punch for Hotch. It's not really a fun situation to be in.
It wasn't very beneficial.
So Hotch is down to no orbs. One more hit and he dies. Game over. Set done.
But we'll see if Hotch decides to go for game here as well.
I don't know. Dreidel's sitting with 5 cards in his hand. I don't know what. I don't know. I guess he could deploy a few things. And
I would like to imagine that at least one is a evade, and he's going to end up with 2 evades, whether both in his hand or the last one being in his orbs, because this is just a thrilling match so far, and he's going to go straight into Lucina, the class change, and this is just going to start to get really busted as Robin's going to be able to do some damage here. Lucina's going to be able to do some damage, and we'll see what Crom's able to do.
What's he going to deploy with Lucina here?
I'm thinking he might decide to either play Frederick or Robin. Well, let's see, because Frederick is able to give some defensive and even buffing capabilities, but Robin is able to help draw if Mickey decides to evade, which she probably will, most likely. But let's see what he picks out here. Either way, both will be able to hit, and he decides to go for Frederick.
He just wants the extra boost to make sure that he can get these hits off. And he might be going for face.
It looks like he's swinging, yeah.
That's
Alright.
gonna hit. He's gonna
He'll
evade.
have to evade. Oh, it doesn't have to, but he'll
He's
evade.
going
Yeah.
gangbusters out here. We'll see if could this be the game. He's
Okay.
gonna push
He'll
Jill.
evade that as well.
Recognizes the Lucina move. Thank goodness.
Does he have 2 more evades in his hand? That's the question.
Well, he only needs 1.
Oh yeah, 1 more evade in his hand.
He's got the orb. The
The
question
orb.
Okay,
Oh,
what
is what is his last?
was
what
his
do you
last
do
orb?
here?
A Micaiah.
Can he seal the deal?
This is
Definitely
the pivotal
thinking about
moment.
it.
I think
The pivotal moment.
I think you swing here.
Do
Yeah,
they have
he
the
swung.
evade?
There we go.
That's
Let's
gonna
see.
be a
Will
hit,
that be game?
And
Oh, he lucked out.
Evade was expected.
it's gone.
Oh, that
Wow.
hurts. Oh. Oh.
That is pain for Hochweisse, Dreidel, whether that was a bait and switch or that was a lucky orb. And he's gonna step on. This might be the game right here.
Yeah, this might be
Yeah,
game here.
It's a pretty stacked board. I don't know what. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Draidel's just swinging face, and that's
And
game.
He's dead. Definitely
That's
a last ditch
game.
effort for Hochweisse, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to seal the deal.
So that's the set. Dang, that was an exciting first FED CS match. Dang.
Wow.
Very well played to both of them.
Very, very, very high. Again, this is what high-level Cypher play looks like, that, ladies and gentlemen. This is the point where you can get to, because these are 2 high-level players playing.
Oh, and Dreidel had another evade in his hand anyway.
So it wasn't.
Oh, and he top decked it.
Oh, he top decked it. Hot luck, unfortunately, strikes again.
Yeah,
Yes,
poor-
Brainiac, he did make them spin. Dreidel made him spin.
And
Dude, fetch. Well, it's gonna do it for this week's Cypher match. I don't know. You got anything you guys want to say before we head off?
Hopefully I did a good job of casting.
You guys-
That's
I think you guys did great. Thank you so much.
I would just like
Yeah,
to take this
course.
time to mention to everyone that, again, if you enjoyed what you saw here, join the Cypher Discord.
Link
There's
is in the
an
description.
there's an amateur tournament coming right up. It's going to be hosted by our very own Awesome Sauce, who's done a great job commentating today. And if you like it more of the content, then let FED know. Join the FED Discord as well. Like and subscribe. Maybe join for a membership. This has been an amazing match, and this was a great time.
Yeah, man. All right. Make sure to like the stream before you leave. Like it. There's 20 of you. There's not 20 likes. That's not how it works. Like it. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night. And again, thanks Capay and Awesome Sauce